Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Venus and Saturn in the fifth house of your birth chart, as in what happens when these two planets, okay, are sitting in the fifth house of your birth chart. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this particular position, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here, astrology.com, where you'll find my book reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Mahavedic Astrology Academy, where especially you will find my newest course on Nandi Nadi, and of course, wristwatch and wealth course, which is literally rapidly changing things for people. So, fifth house, as you know, is the house of mantras, is the house of intelligence, is the house of your progeny, your children. Okay. Fifth house, more education, yes, but it's more so the actual intelligence. That's the education that fifth house represents, because you can attain a high degree like MBA by copying somebody's paper and just repeating, remembering something like a parrot and just putting it on the test sheet. And yet when somebody wants to hire you and they're giving you these different scenarios, you're like, that's, so that lacking of fifth house is there. So now Saturn, Venus, very interesting. You know, like people who become creative directors. Like in a company, I'm not even talking about like entertainment industry. People who go into creative director of this division. And people who use their intelligence to kind of improve the environment of the workplace. People who use their intelligence to change the aesthetics of the workplace. Okay, making the company look more lucrative, making the company more attractive. This is that position of Saturn and Venus. And naturally, when Saturn and Venus are together, especially in the fifth, regardless of the sign, forget about the sign, it's naturally a dhan yoga. It's a yoga for wealth, and especially you will see post-marriage, okay? Like sometimes when I see like somebody who's single at the age of 32, 33, and also is having trouble in career, not finding stable jobs, anything, you can clearly see the moment this person gets married, workload increases. Now, workload may not indicate money right away, but the workload increases. But then money becomes a byproduct of that. The other thing with the fifth house, with Saturn and Venus being there, this person becomes an excellent solution provider. Remember, the creative director, no matter if you're a creative director, you're an accountant, you're management, you're providing solution. But see, these people's solutions are very creative. And in the fifth house of counseling, okay, these people, whenever they use their intelligence with traditional values, that's when this combination of money comes in. For example, let's say companies are firing or laying off people all over the world. Mainly economy is just the front of it. Back end is literally the AI. It's like a quiet, revolution of Skynet, you can say. What this person will do, or the decision that they may take if they have the authority to take it. Like, for example, if this, let's say, occurs in Kritika Nakshatra, they will have that authoritative power to take that. Hey, we're going to be the company. We're going to cut back on AI. We're actually going to hire people. We're going to give families the opportunities, men and women, the opportunities to make money, to earn a living, to have families, and we're going to coincide with the AI in a way where we're not just eliminating a human work. So they take a creative approach with that. And what happens is somehow the company kind of becomes respectful in society, in the economy. Every news channel starts talking about, wow, this is the only company that has decreased AI and they're hiring people. And now the people who were fighting to get a job, they begin to respect the tradition of this company. And based on that, they start loving that product. Even the ones who cannot afford the product, they love the product. The people are flocking to get their product that, hey, thank you for doing this. So the Saturn and Venus combination has the ability to make great changes in society with their intelligence by using the aesthetic of creativity, aesthetic of the pleasant environment with traditional values. Now, of course, if you look at 3 planetary placement like Rahu, Saturn, Venus, that is going to change everything. Then what can happen is this person may talk about the traditional values and how badly they want to do it, but they know by doing that, money can go down. So in the back end, they might actually go for that AI automation. Hey, we got to make money, but I just got to give this front. And that too depends upon where exactly Rahu is placed in that conjunction of Saturn, Venus, and Rahu. Who's in front, who's in back. Because then that will make that impact. So when you have like 3 planetary placement, it kind of changes the dynamics of it. And of course, at work, this person has to perform. This person has to routinely become something that they are not in their personal life. Like they literally have to become more than just even their professional self. They have to kind of perform at work. If they don't perform, if it's like, imagine you're hiring Jim Carrey, right? The comedian Jim Carrey, to come and work for you. Now you know that when this person steps in, there's going to be this character that's coming in. They have this identity of being this and being that and being, hilarious about these things. So they become this. It's like you feel that this person is like on a stage. They're giving the best performance out of everybody else when it comes to talking and walking and aesthetics and etiquettes. So performing is very important, and this is why we see that Venus, Saturn in the 5th. Usually, a person should either be in a creative field or should support the creative field. Meaning, if let's say you're a lawyer, like you have Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, especially Ketu, you can become a great lawyer with this. And now, what type of a law should you be doing? You should be doing entertainment law, right? Because you are connecting yourself with that performance world, yet you're doing your work as a legal individual. And especially you will see with Venus and Saturn together, wife of this individual will influence their intelligence when it comes to their decisions of work. Whether to change jobs, whether to start a business, whether to ask for a promotion, whether to switch their department, get a transfer, all of these literally post-marriage are connected with that. Now, condition of these 2 planets will show that decision can be excellent. Like they should ask their wife for that decision. Like, for example, you have, like I was giving you the example of Rahu, right? You have Saturn, Venus, Rahu in the 5th house. Using wife's intelligence in your career will expand your career and business to no end. And that's the that's the beauty of this particular conjunction. The other thing, usually you will see such a person will meet their spouse Well, meeting of the spouses, going, well, not the meeting, but the environment will be different. But meeting of the spouse will happen either at somebody's birthday party, at a theme park, or especially old theme park, some kind of a old sporting event, or even when they meet their spouse, there'll be discussion of some old knowledge, or some old knowledge is being discussed where they meet this person, and it will be somewhat of a traditional meeting. Even if it's a love thing, it's going to be quite slow and quite traditional in nature. But also with the fifth house, you will also see within the first two dates, if the wife talks about kids, I want my kids to have this and that, you will see that becomes one of the biggest indication that this person is going to be the one that they're going to marry. Because Saturn is what? Saturn is responsibility. It's karma. Right? So what is the biggest karma this person will have is with children. And who's going to be supporting them in that idea of taking responsibility of the children is the wife. So when there's a hint and talk immediately related to children, even if it's a joke, you will see either those relationships become very memorable or that relationship transpires into marriage if the person has the combinations to get married. Okay, just by this alone will not give us if the person's going to get married or not. And the thing is, usually you will see Saturn in the fifth will get married. Or at least not will get married, somehow they will have children. Now, like I was giving you an example with Kritika or some other placement of nakshatra, children can come even before marriage. So it's an excellent placement. But also remember, this is the house of the king. Both planets who are not friendly with the king are in the house of the king. That means morality becomes very important. Being moral becomes the thing for this individual, and humbleness becomes very important theme for this individual. The moment they show up, that's when their palace starts to crumble. Why? Because it's like a king has a natural ego that people respect and recognize. When Saturn, which is the servant, you're putting them in the palace, okay, their humbleness can tremble. Their humbleness within the palace, if they were put in charge, like this is your palace now, suddenly, like for example, a young athlete who gets millions of dollars, they suddenly feel like it's never ending thing, and I'll just run through money just like that, and they're waiting for the next year for the contract to come in because they ran out of the whole thing, because they don't know how to handle that. Where somebody who, let's say, grew up in old money, they will not wear any Versace or Louis Vuitton clothes, nothing. They'll have normal, very decent clothes because they know that investment is far, far more important than me driving in a Lamborghini or buying a Louis Vuitton bag. And so this is where, because Venus, the part of money is there. So because Saturn does not know how to handle that, can sometimes go the opposite way and start showing off that I am this, I am that. And even if they try to look humble, other people can catch that. That you're not really humble. You're trying too hard to look kingly and humble. So the genuine morality has to be there, and humbleness has to be there. Okay, meaning that what you say is what you're doing, what you're speaking is what you're following with this particular two planets in the fifth. Okay. And of course, with this particular position, you will see 33rd year. 33rd year becomes very significant for their marriage, relationship, or promotion. And 34th year. I'm sorry, 30, 31st year and 34th year, not 33rd year, 31st and 34th year. Okay. So anyway, guys, this is my analysis of Jupiter and or Venus and Saturn in the 5th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. If you want to know everything about your chart, horoscope, consultations, my academy, check out the links there. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.